students, welcome to Musical Passports. We're taking a trip today to Israel, so we're going to do some music from Israel. We're going to do some klezmer music, and we're going to do Hava Nagila. We're going to talk about woodwind instruments while we're doing that as well. We've got a few things to do. We only have 2 weeks left. This will be this week and next week as our last 2 videos, so I'm going to try to cover a lot of things during that time. So woodwinds and Israel today, and the Middle East, a couple more other instruments from the Middle East. I'll show you some whistles from a whistle collection, and then we're going to start out with singing Hava Nagila. So you guys all recognize this, I think, clarinet. I'll play a little bit of it, and then we'll sing it.
Let's all rejoice, let's all rejoice, let's all rejoice and be happy too. Let's all rejoice, let's all rejoice, let's all rejoice and be happy too. Wake up, brothers, brothers awake with happy hearts, 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 brothers awake. Wake with happy hearts. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila V'Nishvika. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila V'Nishvika. Uru Wakim, Urakim V'Lasameach, Urakim V'Lasameach, Urakim V'Lasameach, Urakim V'Lasameach, Urakim V'Lasameach.
All right, that was Hava Nagila with the clarinet. Very important instruments, in especially klezmer music in Israel, tuba, clarinet, trombone. Being a music teacher, I do music from lots of different countries, traditional music, folk music. I also like to write my own songs, and being a professional performer, I play a lot of other people's music. But by writing my own songs, being a composer, I like to write for different age groups. I write orchestral music, different styles of music. And I'm going to play you a couple of songs that I wrote. Today I'm going to do one song, and then next week I'll play you some songs that I wrote as well. So we're going to start. This song is called "There's Nothing Like a Whistle." That's one of my songs I wrote. I also have some instrumental music behind this at times, but today we're just going to sing it, and we're going to talk about some whistles and various different instruments from mostly the Middle East, and but definitely whistles. It's a sort of whistle-themed day, Israel, and then we're going to talk about whistles and instruments from the Middle East. So let's do our whistle song. This is a song that I wrote. There's nothing like a whistle. There's nothing like a whistle, a whistle, a whistle. Nothing like a whistle in the land. There's nothing like a whistle, a whistle, a whistle. Nothing like a whistle for the band. There's nothing like a whistle, a whistle, a whistle. Nothing like a whistle when it's played. There's nothing like a whistle, a rootin' tootin' whistle to start the big parade. There's nothing like a whistle, a rootin' tootin' whistle to start the big parade. All right, that's the whistle song, Nothing Like a Whistle. And of course, whistles are instruments. See, I'm going to play a few of these instruments for you. But they're mostly non-pitched instruments, at least not specific pitches. They're not like a clarinet or saxophone when you get into the other woodwinds. But here's some instruments that are whistles that you recognize I've probably played some of these before for you. Let's start with the train whistle. Now the train whistle, of course, when you hear that, whistles also means communication. When people blow a whistle, or when you hear a whistle, that means something's going to happen. If you hear a train whistle, get off the train track. There's a train coming. So whistles are a big part of communication. Here's another one that's used on ships, and this is called a bosun whistle. A bosun is an officer on a ship who sort of stands in the front of the ships and looks out for other boats, or looks out for other things on the water. Now, if the bosun whistle, when he blows this whistle, he's going to tell a fellow officer or captain that there's probably something, that he spotted something there. So this, and he'll. I'm not sure that they still use these, but this was what people used to use. It's called a bosun whistle. B-O-S-U-N is how you spell that. It's a ship officer. And it sounds like this. So it's giving them a signal that there's something to be aware of, or something, they've spotted something, or something's going on. That's the bosun whistle on a ship. We've got the train whistle, bosun whistle. Then we have some of our bird whistles. You guys remember this from the fall. The owl whistle. That's so some animals sound they use their that's the way they communicate, and it sounds like a whistle. Sometimes we can imitate their sound. Like that's a very well done owl whistle. You can hear it sounds very much like an owl. Of course, this one too. Everybody knows what that one is as well. When you hear a bird that's making this kind of sound, that means there's some kind of danger, something going to happen there that they were trying to warn the other birds about. This is a bird that I can let you guys play. It's you use it with your hand. Sometimes it doesn't like to work. You have to turn it a few times. But there you go. But the ones we go into, I can't let you use, obviously. But the ones that you turn with your hand, that's the ones you can do. I have a couple of those. This is there's a bird called a peewit, and this is that kind of whistle. So I've noticed whenever you place a finger, some things have holes in them, like recorders or clarinets, and that's how we do our finger and get the different sounds. This only has one, but I'm going to change the sound one time with this. So that's a peewit bird. I can do it here too. Now I'm going to get the two different sounds. There's a scientific term called the Doppler effect. As you get closer to something, the sound goes higher. So say you're walking toward the bird, you'll hear it sound like this. And as you go away from it, the sound will get lower. That works with pretty much everything. The Doppler effect, trains, cars, whatever. The farther the sound goes away from you, the lower the pitch. It's called the Doppler effect. That's what, like the radar, what they call it, Doppler weather weight radar. It works on the same principles. All right, so let's take a look at since we're talking about the Middle East and Israel, let's take a look at a couple of the instruments from the Middle East. We'll look at the woodwinds. This is called a mizwiz. You hear the two different sounds. That's because I have there's two pieces of wood together. They both have one's tuned at a different interval than the other one. The eastern sounds, of course, are a little bit different than the western ones. And that's a double reed instrument, like an oboe or a bassoon. This is a double reed, and I have I'm using it with two different fingerings, so maybe like a snake charmer or something. You'll see these in the Middle East, possibly India, places like that. Whereas a clarinet or a saxophone is a single reed instrument. This is called a double reed instrument. Clarinets, saxophones are single reeds, and then you have the bassoon, the oboe, English horn. Those are the double reed instruments in the orchestra. Okay, let's take a look at our. This is not actually a. Let's do this one next, so everybody recognizes this one. This is you hear at basketball games or buzzer at halftime. Another interesting whistle. This is actually a horn, which you mostly relate. You'd say it's more closer to a brass instrument, but since we're doing Israel, I wanted to bring the shofar out, and it's played like this. This is a ram's horn. This could have come from an impala or an ibex, but this is a authentic ram's horn here. This could possibly be a real ram's horn, but I think it's probably from an impala. Remember Godspell, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. And that was a shofar sound on Godspell. That's how they do it. There's different shofar sounds for high holy days in Israel, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. You blow the shofar on almost every feast day, every holy day in Israel, or wherever you celebrate. Let's see. I did bring this out. This is a fez from Turkey. Since we're talking about the Middle East, little fez. I think I bought this in Turkey. I was in Kuşadası, Turkey, which is like the Bible talks about Ephesus, Turkey. That is now called Kuşadası, but the old Ephesus is still remaining in Turkey, and I got to visit there. I think I picked up this fez when I was in Turkey. It's from working on the ships and things. So there's some whistles for you. The shofar, like I say, the regular ram's horn is this one. A little bit different sound. And here, this is a Vevazula, which this you hear this a lot at football games or soccer games. I actually have one here that's I can get different pitches out of. Vevazula. This one might be a little bit different sound. So these at soccer games a lot. You get high sounds, low sounds. Of course, the slide whistle. I think I used this a little bit in Madagascar for a couple times. All right. So that's our whistles, the whistle song. If we have time, or we go out listening to a klezmer song, this on with the tuba. We're going to get my tuba and. And the string of the guitar, a very nice little melody. I like this kind of music. It's very moving and emotional.